Well, hello and welcome back to the channel and the allotment. I've come down today midweek. Well, yeah, midweek. One or two little jobs to do. Firstly, I've got a little bit of harvesting to do. I need some cabbage, I need some carrots, and I need some radish. What else do I need? And maybe a little bit of lettuce. So I've got to do a bit of harvesting. I've also got to sort out the bottom path near the wood store. I took the flags over for Emily's greenhouse, and I really noticed how weedy that path had got. So I'm going to get all those weeds up, and I'm going to then put some of that wood chip down that's in the car park, just in that area. Well, oh God, rat! Oh, that's the second time I've seen a rat run across there. Oh, anyway, my phobia of rats is horrendous. I whistle, I clank my keys everywhere I go, I have these in my pocket, I whistle all the time. People walking past think I'm an absolute loon. Anyway, yeah, back to where we were. So yeah, I've got the harvesting to do, I've got to sort that path out. Also, a bit of a disaster in the greenhouse. So I'll show you that. And whatever else I'm doing. At the moment, I'm waiting for this to boil. As soon as it has, I'm going to have a brew and then we'll crack on. Right, so I've had my brew and I have to get started. But before I do, I'd just like to say, I can't believe, but this 1,000 litre IBC is absolutely full to the top. I didn't realise because I've thought we've not had much rain. You know, I'm trying to think back when I put that in. Probably around February maybe. And I didn't think we'd had that much rain, but obviously that catches all the shed water and everything going into there. That's without it being hooked up to the greenhouse. So I'm going to start using this. It's really pleased me. The other thing I want to tell you is this is an old potato crate, so it was that way up, but I've put a couple of legs on it, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this just to stand at the side of my gate at the entrance to the allotment, and any veg that I don't require, I'm going to put it on there and with a little sign saying please take. So rather than just throwing it in the compost, I'll put it out on there for a few days, and then if nobody wants it, then I can put it in the compost. But yeah, so it's going to be a free table that's going to go outside there. Anyway, enough of that. Let me get me bucket and let's go do a little bit of weeding. Right. Still got a few flags left over. But as you can see, quite a bit of weed in here. Which was being hidden by the flags, so to get this up. As you see, these pull out really easy, because these are just annual weeds. I've only been here a short time, so I've got absolutely loads of wood that I'm scared to death to throw away, because I know at some point it'll definitely come in. when I first were doing this plot, at the beginning, I used to put some pictures up on a Facebook site for allotments, and I came in for a little bit of stick. People were saying, oh, your paths are too wide, and you should be utilising all the land and this, that and the other. Which, to be fair, yeah, I've got wideish paths, but I'm not growing to feed the country. I'm growing to feed myself and my immediate family. So, and I also got a lot of stick for putting the wood chip down. Well, I'll be totally honest with you. This wood chip's been absolutely fantastic. It's kept my feet clean underneath me. They were saying, oh, well, when it rains, it all turns to mush, and this hasn't. It's been really, really good, and I'm quite fortunate that one of my pals is a tree surgeon. So, as I've told you in the past, whenever he's working at this side of the city, rather than going all the way back to the other side of Leeds, he'll give me a ring and he'll ask me, do you want it dropping down? Now, either I need it, if not, we put it down any of the bays and other people use it. So yeah, I would definitely recommend wood chip paths. I mean, I'm a real big grass lover, and there are some sites that stipulate you've got to have grass paths, and that must be a nightmare. I think to keep them, trimmed. I mean, in this dry weather that we've had, the grass hasn't been growing that quick, but you can imagine getting a bit of rain, a bit of sun, you'd be forever cutting it. So yeah, I think flags would be too hard, too much of a sort of permanent addition, but at least with the wood chip, all that'll happen is it rots down. Right, that's clear. Let's go get a little bit of that wood chip. It's not the best chip, but it's better than no. Now, whenever I use wood chip, I never use a spade. It'll take you forever and a day. So I always have one of these big scoops handy. A snow shovel. They're absolutely brilliant. As I said before, this isn't the best stuff, but it'll do just to put a covering down on that bit of path and stop the weeds coming through. Right, let's get that done. Probably 3 barrows should do it. A bit of leaf in this as well. Can't complain too much though. Best price in the world, isn't it? For free. Put 4 on for good measure. You can never have too much. So I'll be able to put a nice thick layer down on here now. just move that. I can put these boards back up here. Valuable commodity on allotments is wood. You can do some serious negotiating. It's one of the most satisfying jobs as well. Is wood chipping your paths. Oh, there we go. Now that is a lot more pleasant on the eye. And it's so lovely to walk on. Really nice underfoot. But that's tidied that up. So that took me all of what? 10 minutes? When I do the full plot, I think, because I'm a little bit anal like that, I actually counted how many barrows I needed to do all the paths on the plot, and I think I needed 71 barrows, if I remember rightly. But what I do is I just put radio on, switch off, and just up and down, up and down. Back in the day when I first came, and I first ever did this 9 years ago, and I first put all the beds in, I got it all dug over, I put all the beds in, then I put the membrane down in between all the beds. Back in the day then, obviously, this wood shelter and everything wasn't here. There used to be an old shed here. And just at the side, Norman, the plot holder before me, used to have a little bit of a garden. So what I used to do is I'd take the railing down, and my mate had come back up and he'd just drop all the wood chip there. So it were really, really easy. But now I've got to go, like I say, over to behind the van there, but it's not too far. But yeah, I'm pleased with that. Really pleased. Right, so I was thinking, putting it there, it's not going to block. Oh, could I get away with? Do you think that's too close to the road? Take you across and show you. I think that's a tad too close to the track, don't you? Right. Let me have a little think about that. I think what I might be able to do is I might be able to maybe just have it here. I'll clear that away. Just put it up at the side of there, just put a couple of screws in to hold it steady, and then just put the stuff on, then just put a little sign above it saying free to take. Yeah, I might do that. She's still here, this Patricia the Pumpkin. Nobody's stole her yet. I don't want to be pushing my luck, but sounds very hollow. And I'm told if it sounds hollow, it's ready to go. Right. I'll do a little bit of harvesting. Better go all the way. This is the only problem with these cages, is when you lift them up, if you don't plant the produce in the middle of the cage, you end up catching the leaves when you put it back down. I'll open it this way. Right, I'm just after a cabbage, and this one is the one I'm going to take. I'll take these these outside leaves off. Because they're just getting caught underneath. Right, that's them. Out of the way. Back down. Right. And there we go. Just strip these bottom leaves back. All for the compost. And that is a decent head on there. So I'm really pleased with that. And to be fair, all of the brassicas seem to be doing really well this year, despite the dry weather. Right, now for some carrots. I can hardly get in here for the squash. Now I think that this dry weather has definitely stunted the growth of these. They're only small, and that's probably the worst showing of carrots I've had. But you know, they're all about that big. But they'll eat. I'll go through these. It's just for some coleslaw, so not major. Right, radish. What I think, I've just been thinking about that table, and what I think I might do, instead of putting it outside my plot, I might build one a little bit stronger than that and put it up at the main gate, and then on my way out I can put the stuff in it, put a little sign there, and then anybody else on site that have got spare crops and they don't want to go away, they can always take them up there. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I better ask permission first though. I don't want to be getting in bother off the committee. Right, we're just going to get some radish. As I said to you before, I've never separated these or thinned them out, but it doesn't seem to have mattered because they're an alright size. Right, so what I'm going to do now is get some lettuce, and I'm just going to gently ease it out like that, and then what I'm going to do, is there enough there? There probably is there. And then what I'm going to do is my usual thing of just putting it on, and what I'll go do now is I'll go give that a really good soak, and that'll be nice and fresh for when we get home later on. Right, I think I've harvested what I need, but just walking past these leeks, they are starting to get quite a lot of rust, So I think I'm going to start and harvest these and get them chopped and in the freezer. So that might be a job for the weekend. But here, as you can see, I have been putting the socks on, the corn. These are starting to feel quite full. But there's 20 there, and I still need a few more pair because we've got some little cobs down here as well. Up to press, touch wood, no rats have been in. What I did the other day is all the way around the edge of this board, I poured on some peppermint essence, and that hopefully supposedly keeps the rats away. They don't like the smell of it, so fingers crossed that it stays like that, but I'm keeping a real sharp eye on them. Right, let me take you into the disaster in the greenhouse, and these lovely dahlias are a pleasure to pass. Let's go in the greenhouse. Here we are in the greenhouse, the small greenhouse, and the tomatoes and everything seem to be doing lovely. But guess what's happened? My melon has decided to rot off. That is just all brown gunge. It feels very, very soft to touch. So I don't know what's happened, but my one and only melon is no more. Starting to get some nice Roma tomatoes down at the bottom there though. So yeah, absolutely gutted. Absolutely gutted. The sweet corn, I mean, that feels like there's something well and truly in there. So I'm going to leave it for a while. But I'm absolutely gutted about the melon. But what that'll do now is spur me to get this tidied up. I've one or two more, one or two more cucumbers hanging down over there. Once I harvest those, I may as well tidy this up. You never know, I might come across a melon. There's wishful thinking. So yes, a little bit gutted about the melon situation, but I don't really get that down about stuff like that. I just think, right, well, that's a challenge for next year. I've learned quite a bit, I think, particularly with that greenhouse. The putting the sweet corn in were a bit of a learning curve. You know, that went a little bit haywire. So I'm going to look into getting a different variety maybe. Or I'll see how this whole sock thing and coconut essence thing deters the rats for the sweet corn that's outside. And if that works, then I won't put sweet corn in there. And what I probably might do is give that bed at the back over to melons. It's now my challenge to grow a decent melon. So yeah, but I've got a decent harvest today. I've got some decent carrots, you know, not the biggest, but they're probably tasty. A lovely head of cabbage. The lettuce is beautiful and it'll stay fresh the way that I've done it there until I get home tonight. Some lovely radish. I've a few potatoes to take out, but I'll do that on the way out. So, you know what? You have your ups and you have your downs. You know, the melon's gone haywire, but, you know, I've got a decent harvest to take home. Anyway, just a quick note, I was looking on social media the other day, on one of the local district sites, and one of the councillors on there, I picked up on all this talk about allotments, and he stated quite categorically that Leeds City Council have not put any allotment sites up for any form of building proposals. So you know what, I'll take that. If that's the direction that they're going in, then well done, Leeds City Council. We don't have to follow the routes of other councils. You know, as I said before, I do believe Leeds City Council value the green spaces. You know, it's one of the greenest cities in Europe is Leeds. You don't have to travel 15-20 minutes in any direction before you're hitting some form of green belt. So fingers crossed they stick to that, and that's a nice little bit of positive news to end this video on. Anyway, I'm waiting for this kettle to boil, but the gas is running out. I think I'm gonna need to get another bottle on there. I'm gonna have another cuppa. I did the watering this morning, so I'm gonna have a brew. I'm gonna get my little harvest. I've prepped it all off already. All the waste leaves and everything like that have all gone into the little compost bin, fermenting, ready to go in there. We'll have a look at the compost, if I remember, over the weekend. So until the next time, thank you very much, because I am rambling on. Thank you very much for visiting. Thank you very much for all your positive comments. If you've not subscribed, hit that subscribe button, it'll be much appreciated. Welcome to all the new subscribers from all across the world. Australia, New Zealand, Canada, America. It's fantastic. You really are welcomed. So until the next time, guys, take care, look after yourselves, and happy growing. Oh, go get a gas bottle.